Marine insurance. How many of you drive? All of us drive. How many of you have car insurance? How many people know what the policy is for your car insurance?
Oh yeah, I have this coverage.
You have full coverage. What does that full coverage entail?
Liability, injury.
Up to how much?
Oh, look, it's like $130,000.
That's full coverage, $130,000.
Something like that.
Okay. Minimum insurance policies is $1,530. Okay. $15,000 for damage, $30,000 for injury. No, it doesn't. The other thing, deductibles. How much is your deductible? Anybody know? If you get into an accident, how much is the deductible?
Mine's over $1,000.
Yeah, it's all dependent on plan. Okay, that means if you get into an accident and the damage is more than your deductible, you have to pay $500 out of pocket just for you to finish the coverage with your insurance policy. Mine's $1,000. So before I even hit $1,000, I don't even turn it into my insurance. There's no point. Okay. The next thing, your car. If you get into an accident and you lose your car, how much do they pay out? Does anybody know?
It's the fair market value of the time.
It's the fair market value of the time. So I drive a 2006 Mazda MX-5. And right now, the KBB on my vehicle is $5,000. I purchased my vehicle at $12,000. There is no way any insurance, whether it is your car insurance or your marine insurance, there is no way that they will cover up to $12,000. Okay? Even if you sit here and say you bought that thing last week, they will not cover it for $12,000. They're only going to cover it for the fair market value of that vehicle. Same for insurance. Same for vessel insurance. Gap insurance, you got lucky. Gap insurance, if you have it, mind you, I'm going off on a tangent here for a second. If you have gap insurance, if you have your vehicle on a loan, okay, insurance is going to pay for fair market value of your vehicle. Gap insurance will pay off the rest of your loan.
Same thing for ships.
No. Sorry. Doesn't work that way. Okay. So marine insurance. Marine insurance is the oldest form of insurance we have. There are studies saying that insurance was around since 9 BC or 900 BC. Okay. We wrote our first insurance policy in 1347. Okay. The first insurance policy was written in 1347. 1350s, it was standard practice to get insurance either on the vessel or on the cargo itself. Why? Think about this one. If I put all of my livelihood on a ship and I send it off in hopes that they would make a profit and it does not make it there, how am I supposed to get compensated for that? How am I, or how do I, make more money in order to try this venture again? Well, that's why the insurance came up into play. If I did this and it didn't work, I can try again, or I can break even. Okay? Insurance is not supposed to give you a profit. It is just to give you some kind of compensation for whatever loss that you had taken. Let's say computers. Okay? I have computers in a container. That's $10,000 worth of products. No, let's move it up a little bit. I put $10 million of product in a container, and that falls overboard. That's a huge loss that I would not be able to accommodate myself. So the insurance says, okay, well, that box was $10 million. we will compensate you for $10 million for the value of the equipment that was inside. Not the profit of selling each individual computer, but just the value of the cargo. Okay? So this is where the insurance came forward. Now, how this actually became a major marketplace. I don't remember if I actually talked about Lloyd's in London. Lloyd's in general. Okay. So Lloyd's was a coffee house. It was a coffee house that everybody went to. It was one of those places where people congregated to do business. Okay. And at some point, somebody, Mr. Roberts here, said, hey, I need insurance. Somebody needs to give me insurance so that I can move my cargo. And he says, well, I'll do it for you. Right there in the coffee house. And then this guy says, no, I can do it cheaper. And then this guy said, I can change the terms up to make it look a lot better. And that's where the insurance, Lloyd's of London's, the marketplace, actually was born. All right, 1688 was the first time, the first documentation that the Lloyd's Coffee House was used as an insurance market. A bunch of people standing around, cargo owners saying, hey, can you insure my goods, or can you insure my hull? And these guys saying, yeah, I can do it. Okay. So what has come about today is you have this marketplace, Lloyd's of London, that's sitting, I can't remember exactly, but it's not in the coffee house anymore. And all it is just a bunch of underwriters. Okay, that's the people who are selling the insurance for the cargo or for the hull. There's just a bunch of underwriters sitting here waiting for cargo owners and ship owners to ask for policies. They'll sit here and go, hey, I need to insure my hull. And they will ask them, well, who are you? What kind of ship do you have? What kind of insurance are you looking for? Because there's different policies and everything's unique. And if I don't like what he's presenting after we go through all of this information, I could go to the next guy. And if I don't like his, I can come back to Mr. Roberts and say, all right, you got a deal. Let's do business and let's insure my ship through him. Okay. And then at that point, we'll go upstairs because we're downstairs doing our business. There's a bunch of desks. We'll go upstairs. Lloyd's of London will check to make sure that all the information is correct, and they'll bill us. Or Lloyd's of London will do the billing and say, you owe this guy this amount of money. Okay. Lloyd's of London does 25% of the world insurance business. Okay. It is the largest market for insurance. They still use it today. They still use the standards for Lloyd's everywhere else. Okay? All right. So types of insurance. Obviously, there's a hull insurance. The other one is cargo insurance. The third one is protection and indemnity insurance. Okay? So let's go through a few terms that I kind of started playing with when we were talking about just car insurance. Okay. Indemnity pretty much means insurance. Yeah. Assuring that you're going to get compensated. Indemnity. No, it's sad. Okay. So, some principles. If I go up to an underwriter and I say I have this vessel and I need it to be insured, the first thing he's going to ask me, is it seaworthy? Kinda. Is that going to fly? No. But if I sit here and say, yes, it's seaworthy, it's ready to go, we can use it, and it isn't, am I being honest with him? No. Okay, so utmost faith. That means anytime you go for insurance, you have to be upfront and truthful about everything about the cargo or the hull or the vessel. Okay, utmost faith. If this does not happen,
Oh, insurance fraud.
insurance fraud. They could come at you with insurance fraud. Okay. The other one, they're sitting here thinking that they're insuring something that they actually aren't. Okay. Sometimes depending on the value. I mean, I can sit here and say, I've got 10 computers that I need, that I'm shipping, and I need insurance for that, and each one is worth $1,000. But if it is worth more, who's taking the loss? Me. But if I say that they're $2,000 when in reality they're only $1,000 a piece, who's taking a loss? Who shouldn't be taking a loss? The insurance company. Okay? If we continue to have these situations, we wouldn't have insurance companies. They'd sit here and say, you know what? No, we can't do this. Because at that point, we're losing more money than we can insure for. Okay? So utmost faith. We have to be upfront and center about how much everything is worth and what condition it's in. Okay? Ooh. That's next. Okay. Insurable interest. Insurable interest. That means I have an interest vested in the cargo or in the vessel. So if I'm Joe Blow and I say I like that vessel over there and I'm going to insure it, does that work? No. I have no vested interest in that vessel. Okay? A ship owner has a vested interest in the vessel because that vessel makes me money. I put money into that vessel to make it run. Therefore, I have a vested interest and I can take an insurable interest. Okay? Insurable interest. You have a vested interest in that ship or that cargo. Okay? Cause proxima. Cause proxima. C-A-U-S-E proxima. Yes, it is the word of the day. Meaning, the actual cause of loss. This vessel, it's on fire. Well, we see that it's on fire.
Yeah.
But why did the fire start?
Probably like engine room fire or gas.
No, that can't be an engine room fire. That's right in the cargo hold. It's a cargo fire. Okay. Well, in reality, this is a cargo fire. This is coal. Coal, when you get it wet, what happens to it? It becomes, or it gets internal combustion, or it starts an internal combustion. And at that point, it'll start on fire. Okay? Grain does the same thing. Hay does the same thing. That's why they even tell you, if you harvest hay, just leave it sitting out in the field, let it dry. Because if you start baling it up and then putting it in a warehouse, it'll internally combust, you'll lose your warehouse. Okay? So the cause of this one is internal combustion of coal. Now who's to pay for that?
Whoever's fault that it got wet.
Whose fault did
If the
it?
ship didn't like secure it well. It would be
Well,
the shipper's fault.
if you look, there's
Well, some of the dock.
some on the dock that's on fire, and there's some in the hold that's on fire. Yes, sir.
I'm assuming it makes a difference if it's being loaded or unloaded, right?
Unloaded versus unloaded. Yeah. Who owns the cargo?
If it's being loaded, is it loaded or whoever's sending it away?
It's dependent. Is it free on board? If it's free on board, that means the person who sold the cargo is no longer responsible for insurance. The person who is buying the cargo is responsible for the insurance. He pays out for the claim.
Does the type of charter have to change it as well?
Yes, it does. It's all dependent on who is paying for transportation, who is paying for the loading and unloading, the discharge, who's paying for what. I mean, there's so many different reasons why somebody would pay for it versus another person, why insurance would be pulled for this reason, why would insurance be pulled for that, okay? But in reality, where we're kind of moving off to is the cause proxima, okay? If it's an internal combustion and it's at the fault of the shipper because they shipped wet cargo, insurance won't pay for it. Okay. Next one, premium. So premium. I'm asking for a $130,000 policy. I need this policy for one load. I go to my underwriter, the person who is selling me insurance, and I say I have this policy. And he says, well, it's going to cost you. How much is it going to cost me? $30,000. For a $130,000 policy? Damn. No, I'm going to the next one. Okay. $500 for the $130,000 policy for one time. Premium, the $500. Okay. The cost to insure your cargo. Okay. It's the same thing as your car insurance premiums. You pay X amount of dollars a month up front, mind you. Everything in the insurance company is up front. You pay a premium. That premium per month for your car insurance is how much? Mine's $100. That's just for the car. $25 for a bike. $85. Okay. $85 a month. But that's exactly how it works. The monthly nut or the monthly payment is the premium. Premiums have to be paid out up front.
So is there insurance per trip?
If that's the way that I want it set up. For hull insurance, because I am insuring my vessel, I do it annually. So I pay for a year's worth of insurance up front. Okay? Let's see, what's next? Insurable value. Okay, so insurable value. We just talked about this on a vehicle. Okay, on a vessel, it's fair market value. I have a vessel that is 10 years old. It's in good working condition, and it's seaworthy. How much are you going to get? Depends on what kind of vessel. Let's say 10 minutes. Right now, if I sold this vessel, the value is $10,000. Okay. Say again? While it's on fire now, but if I tried to sell this vessel 5 minutes before it started on fire, it's worth $10 million. That's the insurable value of the vessel. Okay? Claim. Who's had to put in a claim to their car insurance? What is it? Say again? When you tell them what happened. Yes. A claim. Same thing for an insurance or a marine insurance claim. A claim is when you state that you have a loss. And it's the beginning process of figuring out what happened, why it happened, the actual value of either the cargo or the hull, and what the outcome will be. Okay? In a situation like this, you could potentially have more than one insurance, and you probably will. You'll have more than one insurance company in the middle of this going, okay, well, what really happened? Who's responsible for what? Who's going to pay out for who? And what? And why? Okay? If anybody has had to have a fender bender, okay, and you hit somebody, it's not fun trying to figure out who actually has to pay for who. Okay? All right, hull insurance. So this picture is the Costa Concordia. This was the cruise ship that was playing around next to an island in Italy. He got too close to the island. He scraped the hull, and instead of losing the entire ship, he ran the ship aground. Okay, that's why you see one good side and one bad side. It's actually just sitting there in the middle of the water, one side down, one side up. But instead of a total loss of the vessel, you have a partial loss. Okay, so hull insurance, all it is, it's to insure the hull and the machinery. Okay. Factors that determine hull insurance. Company.
Who built it or who?
Oh, whoa, hang on. I have a quote for you. No asset is so valuable to a ship owner as his reputation. Bad management makes it difficult to obtain hull insurance as well as insurance on the cargo carried.
How do cruise line owners get compensated and stuff like that?
Say again?
Like how do people that are on the cruise, how do they get compensated?
So the wonderful company who did the Oopsie Daisy, well, yeah, they're definitely the ones who pay. They will compensate them in whatever way is cheapest for them and what the people will buy off. Some people will never, ever, ever get back on a boat again. Therefore, if you tell them, here's 2 free tickets to go on a 2-week cruise, they'll laugh at you. Okay, but that's usually what they do in this situation. If they have a vessel lost, they'll try and compensate them with time lost because of being out of work or, a free trip on another vessel. They'll call it a loss at that point. Some of that is covered by insurance, some is not. Okay, yes, sir.
Right on one, you said like they paid out each person.
They only did a couple grand each?
Yeah, they like 4.
What a joke. Either way, okay, that's the value of the actual trip, I'm assuming, the 4 grand. Admiralty law, the way that Admiralty law works, it's all dependent on where the claims are filed. If you file a claim in the United States against something like this that had happened in the United States, you'll be talking more than 4 grand. Okay. But for in Italy, they're not going to pay for your psychology or your counseling that you have to go through and the time lost that you took anything after the day that happened. Okay, so $4,000, yeah, I can believe it. Okay, so when it comes to hull insurance, when it comes to any insurance, if your company has a bad rap because of stuff like this, or you've already committed a fraud, or let's talk Exxon Valdez, Costco Bassan. Everybody knows those names because they have been incidences. There's been multiple incidences. Okay, insurance is going to skyrocket for those companies because they already have a bad rap. Okay, the other one, seaworthiness of a vessel. Okay, your ship surveyors have the right to get on a vessel and look at it and make sure that it is actually seaworthy. Okay? An underwriter is not going to sit here and take somebody's word on seaworthiness. Okay? Safety records. Everyone, actually, I think Mr. Ali would attest to this one. Everyone, when you get on board a ship, the first thing that a lot of companies will tell you now is if you don't walk out with steel-toe boots, your life jacket, and a hard hat out on deck with your reflective equipment, you're violating safety regulations. And at that point, creates larger insurance premiums. Okay? So that's a big one. Your safety track record on board a vessel determines the premiums. Okay? Let's see. Type of vessel and cargo. If you're a 200-foot tug and you have 20 people on board, do you think that your insurance premium would be less or more than that bulk carrier, that 500-foot bulk carrier that's transiting from the United States to Japan? For the tug, it will be less. Okay? So the type of work and type of cargo that a vessel does is going to determine how much a premium is going to be and how much insurance is required. Okay? And the last one, vessel itinerary. Okay? If I'm just running from Canada to the United States, my insurance is going to be way cheaper than me running from the Philippines to India. Why? Piracy. Weather. Okay? Going from Philippines to India, you're subject to monsoon season. Okay? What else? Distance. The types of ports that you're going into is a huge liability also. I mean, there are stories upon stories of how you actually have to bribe the Suez Canal, the Suez Canal pilot just to get him to take your ship through the canal. Yes, you do.
55 packs of Marlboro Reds.
Is that what it cost you last time?
5 cartons of Marlboro Reds.
See, I know that people usually carry the cheap cigarettes so that they can give the cheap cigarettes to the Suez Canal pilots.
Marlboro Reds.
Damn. That stings. But yeah, that's all that is required for an understanding on the hull insurance. Okay? Each thing changes the premium for hull insurance. Okay. Cargo insurance. Cargo insurance is the same thing, except instead of the hull, we're dealing with the chunks or the packages. Okay? Liners are mandated to carry insurance for packages on board. Okay? They're mandated to carry $500 per package. What do you think that $500 per package really means? Define that.
Per box?
Per container. That's it. $500 per container. $500 per container is just covering the cost of shipping your cargo. Okay? So if the vessel catches fire due to some other cargo that's on board, they're not liable for it. The hull or the shipper or the consignee, the carrier, is not responsible for your loss in the event of a fire from somebody else's cargo. They'll give you $500 for that package, and then you have to take a loss on it, or you hold your own insurance for that cargo. Okay, that's what cargo insurance is for. Okay, cargo insurance is not supposed to insure the profit that you are going to receive. Keep that in mind. It is not for the profit that you are to receive from that cargo. It is assigning a dollar value for that cargo. Okay, the 10,000 computers, each one is worth $1,000. That's how much it costs for me to make it. Therefore, I am going to get $1,000 for each one of those laptops or those computers that I had lost. So I can make 10,000 more computers, hopefully. Keep my fingers crossed. Okay? That's what cargo insurance is for. Cargo insurance is going to be valued at the same way as hull insurance. Okay? What is the value of the cargo itself? What is the nationality of the vessel? I'll tell you right now, you're going to be required more insurance for putting your goods on a Panama flagged ship versus a Denmark flagged or a US flag. What? Denmark? Maersk. They're Danish. Okay. The ship owner, their safety record. Okay. If they have problems with being seaworthy, and you know that you're going to be putting your cargo on this vessel, your insurance underwriter is going to look at you and say, that's going to be a little extra on the top end, because we know that they're not very good at keeping their cargo safe. Okay. What else? Type of cargo. What is it? So same things as if you were dealing with hull insurance. Okay. So P&I insurance. Last one. P&I insurance is protection and indemnity. This is for all other causes. Let me go back, because I think I missed something. Okay. I did. Let me go back to cargo coverage. Cargo is not covered for, and this is for all insurance policies. You look at insurance policies, this isn't going to be covered. Improper packaging. Abandonment of cargo. So if you just opt not to pick up your cargo, you are not going to get covered by insurance. If a government rejects the cargo, i.e., the cargo will not pass Customs and Border Patrol. If you know you're not supposed to be sending in guns, and you send guns, and the government says, we will not let you bring these into the country, you lose the profits. You lose the cargo. You don't get the insurance. Okay? Inherent vice. Inherent vice is the standard deterioration or decay of cargo. Okay? Best known inherent vice that I know of. LNG, liquid natural gas. When you can compress natural gas and cool it down, you get liquid natural gas. You put that into a tanker, and you start moving that tanker. They don't have a way to compress that natural gas anymore. So what they do is they recirculate it, hopefully get some back, but a lot of times, because of the way that how it expands, they just let it off gas. Okay? That's inherent vice. Loss of cargo due to deterioration or decay. Same thing with bananas. Same thing with avocados. Okay? How long does an avocado last when sitting on your counter? A whole whopping 4 days. Maybe. You'll get lucky if you get 6.
Sun. Depends.
Okay, so naturally the cargo deteriorates.
Any produce.
Yes, any produce, any fish, any cheese, LNG, glass? Glass breaks.
It's not an inherent vice.
No, if glass is breaking, that's because you improperly packaged the glass. Okay? Those aren't covered in cargo insurance, and they will never be covered in cargo insurance. It's a standard. You, as the ship or as the cargo owner, should know that it takes X amount of days to get to the United States from China. And at that point, if you lose some because of the type of cargo that you are running, that's on you. Yes, sir.
Is there like a level of like acceptable like
Yes.
duration of cargo?
Yes, there is. It's also why we're really big about timing, because we know that if I put avocados on board this ship and it doesn't make it, or the ship doesn't make it there on time, on schedule like it's supposed to, then if there's more lost than what was supposed to be, or the actual freight owner or the shipper is liable for it, or the carrier. Excuse me, the carrier. Okay. So, let's go back. This is why P&I insurance is so important. Okay. Hull insurance and cargo insurance do not cover war. They don't cover your longshoremen going on strike. They don't cover collision. Protection and indemnity insurance covers that, along with crew death, crew injury. This is probably going to be one of the most heart-wrenching moments that I have, or that I talk about. I had an AB, an able-bodied seaman, who was standing watch with me, and I was getting ready to, or I was working on this insurance portion, and he was telling me that it's way cheaper for a lot of other companies because of the way that they handle crew death. One of his friends had died in an accident with one of the anchor windlasses. They brought his body back. They handed the body back to the wife and said, for the remainder of his term that he was supposed to be on that ship, was another 8 months, he was going to get $3,000. The problem is, their P&I did not cover the transportation of his body back. So they took that $3,000, cut $2,000 out, handed her $1,000 and said, have a good life. Okay? Here in the United States, insurance companies, P&I companies absolutely fucking hate us because we have the Jones Act. The Jones Act says that they are liable for certain incidences. Okay? This terrorist attack. The Aquila Laro is not a U.S. flagged vessel, but had it been, the passengers who were on board would have been happily compensated for that. And P&I would pick that up. Because of our laws and regulations, they will, and they have to. Okay? P&I insurance, when you get a total loss of a vessel. Actually, let me take a step back. When the hull insurance says that there is a total loss of a vessel, they don't actually give you total value of that vessel. They give you 75%. P&I clubs, P&I insurance, picks up the 25%. Okay? A P&I club versus P&I insurance. P&I club is actually a group of ship owners that you pay into a club or an annual subscription to get that 25%. Okay? That covers fines, because trust me, okay, not us, not so much us, but ship owners are liable to fines. If you get a CG, 2832. 2832 means you are tied to the dock, you can't run. You lose money every single minute that you are not moving. P&I clubs actually compensate for that. Okay? Your vessel spills oil. You get an automatic $10,000 fine. P&I clubs pick that up. Okay? So it helps with keeping vessels running. Ship owners pay into these so that they can help each other maintain operational status. Okay? All right. Types of loss. Types of loss. Total loss. That means the costs to fix or repair versus the actual replacement value. If the cost to fix or repair is more than the replacement value, it is considered a total loss. For example, my car is worth $5,000. If the value to fix my car after a fender bender is $5,001, it's a total loss. Forget it. I'll just pay you out the $5,000. It's easier. It's cheaper. Okay? Partial loss, or particular average, excuse me. Particular average is just the partial loss. Okay? So if I have a container, and in that container I have 10,000 computers, and with that 10,000 computers, only 10 got damaged, that's a particular average. They'll compensate me for the 10 computers that got damaged, not the entire container. The last one, general average. Okay? General average is the loss of cargo due to saving other cargo and the ship. This one's a little bit funky, okay? Because when you think of general average, you talk about particular average and total losses. You're like, okay, no big deal. But general average actually comes about because ships, in order to maintain their seaworthiness, a lot of times used to jettison cargo off because the ship was too heavy. All right, get it off. Get it off so that we can keep the ship. Save the rest of the cargo and save the ship itself. Okay? One major example. If you have a car fire on an auto carrier, if you look at the decks on an auto carrier, they're all open. So each deck. That means all of those cars, if you have stacks and stacks and stacks of cars in that specific area, if you light a fire, what's going to happen? The rest of them is going to start going up in flames. Okay? In order to save the ship and to save the rest of the cargo, you let off enough CO2 for that particular area. So all of those cars that got CO2 blanketed on them is gone. That's a general average. So who pays out for that? Everybody. Everybody gets a piece of the pie for that one. There's no cargo owner takes care of that or ship owner takes care of that. Everybody takes a piece of a general average. It doesn't happen as much as it used to, especially with container ships, because of the way that it's all sectioned off. I mean, you still have some if you're subject to getting your equipment or your container wet because they're trying to do some boundary cooling. Yeah, you'll have one there, Okay, so you lose that one container, but the rest of them you don't have to worry about. Okay? All right. Happy Monday. No, I haven't.